Garlic is one of the best things you can grow in your home garden.
And one of the most delicious, unique things you could harvest.
It's also sometimes the most annoying. Jacques and I have been growing garlic for about 5 and change years, and we've run into nearly every problem, but we've also had some big bulbs.
Yeah, some great successes. So today we're going to unpack how you guys could grow the biggest, best head of garlic you've ever grown.
Every single step in the planting process, it's a little extra. You can see we have some weird potions and accoutrements here, but cultivate that subscribe button. Ooh. And Jacques and I will personally bless you with plus 20% more cloves in every bulb you grow this season. And let's get into the guide. So when it comes to growing big bulbs, Jacques, well, there's 2 ways to think about it. One, downside protection. Like if the garlic dies, then you're not getting a bulb, no matter how big or small it is.
Anything.
But the second, which we'll talk about now, is the type, right? And you've got a box here, I've got a ton. There's about 15 different varieties of garlic here, and believe me when I say, if you make the wrong choice at this point, it actually doesn't matter what's in these buckets. It doesn't matter how you plant it, right? So what do you got over here?
So what I have over here is soft neck garlic. So this is the stuff that doesn't have a hard neck, which means the part at the top is a little soft and floppy. It's great for warmer climates. It doesn't need any cold weather.
Yeah, and I've got what's called hard neck garlic. It's easy to tell because the neck is literally hard, and it's very, very sort of abrasive almost if you touch the top of it. Now this is great for colder climate growers, but we have experimented, and no matter what climate you're in, you can grow a hard neck garlic.
Totally.
But this pile here has been sitting in my refrigerator for 2-3 months now, which is called vernalization, basically faking a winter dormancy period. Now, if you're in a cold climate, you don't have to worry about it, and you can kind of grow hard or soft neck, but if you're a beginner in a warm climate, probably just go with a soft neck.
Yeah, Laura's Italian, California Early, those are all great varieties. The nice thing about soft neck too is it does store longer, so will last you longer than the hard neck, but the hard neck has a more complex, deeper flavor.
So we have our cloves. We've selected some soft neck garlic here. The only real difference when you're doing what Jacques' doing, which is popping cloves, one of the more fun parts of the planting process, it's just so satisfying, between soft and hard, is that you're just gonna get more cloves off of a soft neck head than you are a hard neck head, but they're still going to grow amazing garlic. So that's why, you know, when you buy hard neck, it sometimes can be a little more expensive because the per clove price is technically high.
Yeah, you are getting less plants per pound.
So what are we looking for, Jacques, when we're popping the cloves out?
We're pretty much just looking to make sure that the garlic isn't rotten. So that's the main thing, and usually you could tell by giving it a sniff. If it smells really weird, it probably has some rotten cloves. And then looking at it, if you see brown through the papers, it's probably a weird one. Giving it a hard squeeze. If you feel like your finger just jumps right in, it's probably rotten. So those are kind of the main things that I'm looking for at this point in time.
Speaking of, just found one.
Oh, you got one.
Take a look right there.
I've never had garlic. Oh yeah, that's fully rotted out.
That guy's gone. So you need to isolate that, get that out of there. It doesn't mean the cloves right next to it are necessarily bad though.
And here's the thing, this is a myth that I'm busting here today.
Bust it.
Bust it, is that you don't need to have the paper on the clove for it to succeed. A lot of people are worried that if the actual paper comes off, it's not gonna make it. It's totally fine. Garlic will grow no matter what. You think the farmers are out there picking out each clove that had the paper knocked off?
No.
No way. And that's a good way, if you're not sure if your garlic's bad, give it a peel, take a look. You could totally do that and you'll be fine.
So the one thing I will say is when you are popping these cloves off, especially when you're dealing with a soft neck variety like this Inchelium Red or this Laura's Italian, you get a wide variety in clove size.
Oh yeah, you can see right here I have a little sorting pile. On the left are the smaller cloves, on the right are the bigger ones. And ultimately, the bigger the clove that you plant, the bigger the head that you get.
It is a situation where size really does matter. Look at this, this is one, and then you find often the inner cloves are a bit misshapen, a bit smaller. Now this will still grow garlic, so if you only have one head and you're experimenting with it,
send it.
Definitely send it and plant it. But I'm gonna do the same as you, Jacques. I'm just gonna filter these out. Now, if you want to have a use for these, I've got one for you at the end of the video I think you're really going to like.
Oh yeah.
That does not require you to have a ton of space at all. So I'm doing the same thing.
And the other thing is, if you do have these mesh bags, for the next step that we're going to do, you're going to want them. So I'm putting all the cloves I'm keeping back in the bag so I know what variety it is. Today's sponsor is Element, a zero sugar electrolyte drink mix that I've been using for about 4 or 5 months now when I'm out here in the garden trying to stay hydrated instead of just a bottle of water, and I absolutely love it. This is raspberry salt, probably my favorite flavor, but there's about 5 to 7 other ones that are equally delicious. Here's the thing, when you're out here
working, whether you're an athlete or training or just a simple gardener like myself, you want to stay hydrated. And there's a growing body of research that shows that optimal health outcomes occur at sodium levels that are 2 to 3 times higher than government recommendations, which is where an electrolyte drink mix comes into play. Not only that, one without any of the dodgy ingredients that you find in a lot of the popular ones. Element is the one that I personally enjoy. I love it. It's delicious. I have one nearly every day. And we have a killer deal for you guys. If you want a free sample pack, just go to drinkelement.com, drinklmnt.com/epic, and you will get a free sample pack with your purchase. Give raspberry salt a try. It's really good. Get some electrolytes in your body. Thanks to Element for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it.
So we saved the bags like you mentioned, Jacques. Actually a really great tip because we are doing, I would say a dirty dunk, but it's actually a cleansing dunk. Our first dunk is a cleansing dunk. Here,
Yeah, I'm actually winning you over on the dunking.
well,
Maybe.
I had some disease, so
Yeah.
now I'm willing to give it a shot. What we have here looks like some crazy chemicals. It's actually not. It's hydrogen peroxide. Jacques, we recently busted a few peroxide growing myths.
That's true.
But today, we're actually going to use it in the garden. So we're going in,
Probably need 2 bottles for this.
I would say 2 bottles. Why are we doing this?
So this is going to clean the garlic of any pests that might be on there, like little mites or any fungal diseases or any like bacterial stuff. We just want to make sure this garlic is going into the soil on its own accord without any passengers.
Exactly. We know that there was some rot on some of the cloves, inevitable, which means there's some pathogenic activity. So we're going to clean it, give it a clean slate before we dunk it into our second bucket. We're staying in here for about 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, and if you don't have 3% peroxide, you could use 70% rubbing alcohol or just cheap vodka. All of them will basically do the same thing.
We've been soaking for about 10 minutes, Jacques, so let's grab these guys out. They look the same as always. And now they have to get into this bucket, which again, is something that I did once. You've done it more often.
Yeah.
We think it's probably a good idea because farmers do it.
Yeah.
If a farmer does it,
They're not.
They live and die on if the garlic
Yeah,
grows.
exactly. They're not trying to waste money.
So what's in the bucket?
So this is full strength liquid organic fertilizer. So whatever it says to mix for mature plants, that's what you want to do. And I think this would only really work for an organic fert because there's stuff that feeds microbes. It helps inoculate the garlic maybe a little bit. But like a synthetic fertilizer, I don't know what that would do.
I don't think it would do
I don't think
much.
it could help, right?
Yeah, so we just used whatever was laying around in our shed at full strength. The hydrogen peroxide will eventually break down into oxygen and water, so you can leave that in a bucket and it'll work. But what we got to do now is get into the bed prep.
Yeah.
Because to me, this is as important as anything else. I have a 4x8 raised bed here. This does have irrigation set up on it. You don't need irrigation on your garlic, especially at the very start. So we're actually going to turn the irrigation in this bed off until we start seeing anything sprout up.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the soil, Jacques. How are we prepping?
So for soil and garlic, like one of the issues that you can run into is rust, which is a fungal disease. And that is exactly why we're going with the raised bed with some nice loose draining soil. So this has been recently amended for drainage, and that's really the key because rust is a fungal disease. So wet, soggy garlic with poor airflow is the issue. Having good soil and good spacing is really the best way to prevent that.
Exactly. So what I'm doing now is just kind of leveling this bed out. I just have a thing about it.
Yeah, I know you do.
I like a really nice leveled out. And plus, you know, when you kind of run your hand over that soil,
You get a feel for
you get
it.
that refresh, you know?
And we're not going to remove the lines, and I think we're going to just try to plant next to it.
Yeah, if you do have irrigation, this is on a 6-inch spacing. That's exactly how far apart we're going to space our garlic anyways.
Yeah.
And one thing I will say is from a what to plant garlic with, nothing. Plant it by itself.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't put a lot of stuff in the bed. It doesn't really like to compete. It's in the allium family of plants. Onions are the same way, leeks, etc. They rather just be on their own.
Yeah, the roots are basically this big.
Yeah, they kind of
not
go
going that deep.
They kind of go like that. So if you force things to kind of crowd into them, they're not going to like you very
And
much.
they'll be smaller.
In the past, we've taken a little dibbler, stabbed a bunch of holes in, and then dropped the garlic in. This
It's
year,
exhausting.
when you're dragging your furrow out, you want to go, I would say at least 4 inches deep. The colder the climate, the lower you can go, maybe 6 inches, because you don't want the soil to freeze
Totally.
while the garlic is still developing its root system. So I'm going to drag 4 out.
Okay. If you want to know how much garlic you could fit in your bed, you take the length times width times 4. So 4 by 8 times 4, that's 128 cloves of garlic that we could technically fit in this bed.
Been about 30 minutes now, Jacques, so let's take it out of our fertilizer stew. Don't get any on you.
Oh, I'm always in there.
Oh,
I'm in the stew.
that stench, that
Now,
stench.
if you do this overnight, that's fine. 2 days, probably fine. Any longer than that, I probably wouldn't do it.
Overnight's a good idea. As little as an hour is also good. So let's get into the part that you probably thought you were getting to when you clicked on this video, which is planting the actual clove. What do we need to think about? Well, we have our furrows about 4 inches deep. You've got 2 sides really to the garlic, the top and the bottom. The bottom, there'll be like a little roughness to it. That's where it's attached to that main root base. And then the pointy part is the top where that new sprout is going to come out of. So obviously, which way do we want to plant it?
Root side down.
Root side down, pointy side up. If you have irrigation, it's nice because you can just go right next to each emitter. If you don't, grab a measuring tape or eyeball it, maybe just a pinky and thumb action.
Yeah, that's
do a little
pretty
walking
safe.
pinky and thumb, and that'll work out.
So
I like to,
I'm just pressing it into the soil so you can barely see the top, basically.
exactly what I was gonna say. Our cloves are in. Now we need to cover them up. So right now, and you can bury the emitters if you have drip irrigation. Right now, it's just the soil and maybe a little bit of natural sort of organic matter that's in that soil, but we haven't done anything to protect the top of this bed, Jacques, in 2 different ways. One, from the elements, second, from pests. So the first thing we're gonna do is a little bit of a protection from Mother Nature.
Okay. What do you have in mind?
Let's dump a load of compost on this. So we have some compost, Jacques. We'll put maybe 2-3 inches down. Not necessarily to add some nutrition because, in fact, when we prepared the soil and prepared the bed, we did add in some organic granular fertilizer, a little bit higher in nitrogen, which is counterintuitive because you think garlic is like maybe a root crop or something. It's not technically a root that you're harvesting, but either way, what you want with garlic is you want a lot of leaves at the start of its life, which nitrogen helps produce. So we did put some of that in the planting hole, but Jacques, this is really just to protect it from the elements, and of course it will break down over time.
Yeah, this is like a mulching compost. It's basically mulch and compost adding some organic matter, burying the garlic a little bit deeper. And that's another way to get that depth is you don't have to go 4 inches deep. You go 2 inches deep and add 2 inches of compost.
Exactly. We have something else to protect the garlic from to get those huge bulbs, and that would be mammals. Things like skunks.
And raccoons.
And raccoons.
have wrecked my garden.
And opossums. So the only way we found to be able to do this and guarantee it doesn't happen is put some sort of cover on. It doesn't have to be this.
Physical barrier.
Physical barrier. It doesn't have to be this. This is a chicken wire, 1/4-inch chicken wire. You could use something as simple as burlap sacks. Jacques, I've seen them be dissuaded by that.
Yeah.
But this was already cut out from last year. The only thing I'll say is
big enough?
Yeah,
oh,
that's fine.
That's just big enough to discourage me.
Yeah, toss me a couple of these guys. Thank
That
you.
was a terrible toss.
You just have to make sure you take these off when you start seeing sprouts coming up in the spring, because of course it will potentially damage
These
them.
are not big enough for garlic, that's
No.
for sure.
No, definitely not.
Gotta say, we ended up with a beautiful bed here.
Yeah, it looks clean. Yeah, I wouldn't say beautiful. It will look beautiful eventually, but we've done everything we can do to set our garlic up for massive bulbs. The right type of garlic, the right size clove, disinfected the cloves, fertilized and soaked them for some extra vigor. We planted them at the right depth. We covered them up with compost and a physical barrier. 7 different powerful things. And that is just the beginning of learning to grow incredible garlic. Once this comes up, there's a whole host of other things to know. You can check a video out right here on how to deal with those. And if you do want to experiment with your own garlic this season, we have some varieties still available on our store. Good luck in the garden and keep on growing.